Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. You're watching Daddy Daddy Talk, and I am Kelsey, and he is.
I'm Dad. I'm Chris.
And we got another video for y'all. And I actually took some notes because I had a feeling that we might not have been on the same page, but we just got on the same page right now. So as y'all can see by the title of this video, "Be My Peace." Now we can look at this in a lot of different ways, but we capitalize in my for a reason. And then I kind of want to talk about being my peace versus bringing peace, and we can kind of deliberate that as we get into the video. Um, but I got this video idea from a screenshot that I seen or that I took, and it said, "Don't be my peace. I have that. Be at peace with yourself so we can love each other correctly." Now, prior to the filming of this, which I might even put in a segment like towards the end, or I might even put it right here. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this, but we were kind of talking about what exactly does "be my peace" means, and my dad brought up a good idea. I mean, a good, I don't know, a
Point.
good, yeah, point. And you basically saying that somebody can be your peace. Um, And you want to kind of elaborate on that before we get into the shindig, the all of it? On the point.
Yes. I myself, I have people that reach out to me um, in a time of need. It's not that they want money or necessarily advice, but they may be in a situation to where they are uncomfortable. Um, I do it myself. If I'm in a situation to where I'm uncomfortable, I don't have that peace or that feeling of stability. So you reach out to somebody else just to get a calming voice, a calming word, something about that person. They can bring a level of peace and a level of balance to your situation to where you can move forward. I know people that have anxiety, and when they get in an anxious place, they themselves feel like they're losing control. So they will call me, knowing that I won't escalate the situation. I'll probably de-escalate the situation, and they'll leave that conversation feeling more at peace, more balanced, and able to move forward. So at that point in time, I've actually been able to bring peace to their situation because they just for that moment didn't have it. But go ahead.
Moment is like super, super key in that idea of being someone's peace or bringing peace, is because it's just like a moment, in a snapshot or a quick second in life. And I think that's kind of the difference between like having a bad day and this is being your mentality, your mood, or whether you kind of lack wholeness in a sense. And so bringing peace is when I'm not really at my very best. You add to, you remind me what peace is, you remind me what wholeness is, you remind me what joy is, and you kind of snap me back to my norm. And then, in a sense of kind of like my generation and what I think they mean by "be my peace" is like be my wholeness, be my happiness, be my joy, be all of those things that I'm missing because I may not all the way have that in myself. So I need somebody else to do it. So I think, to me, in the kind of concept that I want to talk about in being my peace versus bringing peace is the difference between finding a filler and something that's a temporary reminder or a temporary, like, oh, back to reality kind of thing. And I think it's good to distinguish between the two as a quick starter off to the video.
Gotcha.
Coolio. So I guess I can take the lead on this video today. Um, But I think one, if not one of the most important, if not the most important part of interpersonal relationships, and that goes for having a relationship with a family member, having a romantic relationship, a platonic relationship, a friendship, any of that is being able to be whole within yourself and having some happiness within yourself before you start mixing and mingling with other people. And some people lack that. Some people some people lack that wholeness, that joy, and that happiness, and they have all of these different pieces, PIECES, missing, and then instead of filling those holes and those gaps first before they start to mix and mingle, they look for something that may temporarily cover up the gap. So like a band-aid or something to cover it up so they just don't see those wounds anymore. They don't see that something missing within themselves. So they extrinsically, sorry, these rubber bands about to play with my tongue and not about to allow me to speak, but they look for it extrinsically or on the outside, and they kind of almost expect somebody to fill in those gaps that they never create. Um, and to me, I think it's a little bit backwards, and sometimes I think it's asking for too much to ask for somebody on the outside to fix something that they never really broke in the beginning, and to expect it or dang near demand it is a little off to me.
So what do you think a person should do if I am lacking whatever it is that I'm lacking, and I'm looking for a person that has what I don't have, for them to fill that void? What should I be doing, in your opinion?
I think first recognizing that two halves don't make a whole. That that's not proper math in this context. Two wholes make a better whole. And if you can't, one, acknowledge that you're not whole first, you're gonna have some problems. So the first step to me would be acknowledgement, and then the second step would be taking some time to learn yourself. Because a lot of times that you run into that issue when you don't know who you are, and if you don't know who you are, how can you, one, be able to communicate just who you are to the next person, and two, how will you know what you like and what you don't like, what you want and what you don't want, and how can you even take the time to learn them? Because while you're trying to learn you, you're trying to learn them, and you just, it's mixing up too many things at once. If you know yourself first, you are going to give your authentic self. You're going to be more aware of things. You're going to be more in tune with not only yourself but everything that's going on around you, and it's way less distraction. If every turn you make, you're trying to figure out if this is really genuinely you, and then you also trying to get to know somebody, you trying to figure out if this is really genuinely them, but it's gonna be more difficult if you don't know what's going on with you first, and if you aren't whole in you first.
Okay. Um, why not seek the knowledge from the person that you are with? If you don't have financial literacy, so of course you're going to probably want to be with somebody that is financially literate. Um, why not learn from them? One, it gives you two an opportunity to get on even ground. Um, just because you're not financially literate and the other person is financially literate, that just shouldn't be their burden to take care of the finances. Because if something were to happen to them, it's like you said about somebody being your piece. If they are your piece solely, they can take your piece.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is that your partner may have that you don't have, try to get them, if they're willing to, try to get them to teach you how to do that, because you can now take a load off their plate and you're more partners than you were previously. Just the journey of even learning. Let's say they handle the finances, they like handling the finances. It's kind of a joy of theirs. So you don't want to take that joy away from them if you don't have to take that joy away, but to sit there and learn how to read those finances and things along those lines. That's just something else that you two can have in common, and you can do them together. They can take the lead, but you can do them together. Hey, babe, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just paying the bills. Well, let's sit down. Let me sit down and do that with you. That's more quality time for you to spend together and have things in common.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea. And then when it's all said and done, that would be building up a weakness to a strength, making you more whole. I know myself, that's something that I like in women. I like women that can handle business. So in the event that I'm too busy to handle the business, they can handle the business. They're not just waiting for me to do everything, or they can't make decisions on their own. I like women that can handle business, because there will be times that I'm unavailable, and there may be a time I'm just not around anymore. Not that we broke up or anything, just mortality. It may be a time that I'm not around. And all these years we've come to build, gather, develop. I'm not here anymore, and it's all going to pot because you don't know how to handle business. I'd be wherever you go after you've died. I'd be in heaven mad as hell, because all these things that we acquired and accumulated, you just let go to pot because you just left it for me to do, and you never took any interest in developing it yourself. And me being on a deathbed is not the time to learn um, how that works.
I 100% agree with you on the sense that we both need to learn how to do this. Like if we talk about on a family standpoint, let's say the guy is paying for everything, but he's not the one physically logging in, and he giving the money, but he's not doing the process of everything. That ain't gonna really fly with me, because if I croak and you at home with my kids and you don't know the password, I'm gonna be haunting you. I'm gonna be at your door every single day. Like, no, that's something that is collective, and I've seen it play out in so many different ways, especially with the type of job that I do. I see that one parent knows all the insurance information. One parent knows all the birthdays. The one parent don't barely even know the kids' names. If you can't keep it, save their life. I know we trip up sometimes, but one parent is let me call the other one parent. Can't do nothing for themselves. The kids be more efficient than that parent. And then the other parent is very on it. But then in the few times that I've seen it, when that on it parent is no longer there, now I just have somebody crying in front of me, and I can tell you how to get the information, but I can't do it for you. And for so long, you have somebody that's just dragging you along with the process and doing it and doing it and doing it, in the sense that if they're military and now they're overseas, if they are deceased, or if they at work and they can't answer the phone right now, what do you do? While they have been carrying all along, you still don't know. So I think it is crucial that you both learn how to do it. And I do think in certain areas, just like financial literacy, for example, that is something that can be taught. But, and I'm not even refuting this, this is a genuine question. How do you teach self-love? How do you teach happiness? How do you teach joy? How do you teach self-peace?
Ooh,
Thank
ooh, 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 ooh. I've actually done this, which I started with myself. I was my first student.
you.
When it came to that, like I tell you and your little brother, which I don't know if you believe me, but I know he does not believe me when when I tell him all the time that I was shy. I was every bit as shy as he is. Um, but now I have no problem speaking in public. I rather enjoy speaking in public. It's not that I don't ever get nervous, but you can't tell if I do get nervous, but by the time I start talking, I'm no longer nervous. But I actually used to practice telling myself that I'm worthy of love from me and that I deserve greatness. Um, and anybody else that comes in contact with me with those issues, people actually have, over the years, people have come to me asking those questions. How do I properly love myself? And these when you go through social media every day, you see these let's call them mantras,
Mhm.
like you are great, you are worthy of this, you can do anything you want to do, today's going to be a great day. Those things, I actually used to say them in the mirror every day until it got to the point to where I believed everything I said. So it started as a desire. I practiced it until it became a habit, and it went from a habit to actually a lifestyle. And I still tell myself this stuff all of the time. And it's not necessarily that I need to hear it, but I do tell myself this stuff every day almost, that man, you can do it. You can do anything you want to do. It's up to you. Nobody can stop you. It's all up to you whether or not you want it to happen. If you want it to happen, just go get it. It's as simple as that. Go and get it. And I believe in myself ultimately. I believe super, super, super into myself, in myself, as far as being able to do anything that I want to do. And it's not that I'm better than anybody else, but I'm worthy of success.
Mhm.
So I tell myself that, and that practice became habit, became a lifestyle to where I genuinely love myself. I like who I am as a person. I try not to do anything to violate anybody else or to bring hurt, harm, or danger to anybody else. So I can like myself. I can respect myself. I can feel comfortable with what I present to the world. And then, even though there are people out here that see me and have an idea of what I portray on social media or these videos, those that really know me know exactly who I am, and they will be able to vouch that, hey, this is a good stand-up dude, even though the imagery that people see of me on social media isn't necessarily me. It's a piece and a portion of me. If they got a chance to get to know me, they feel comfortable in the fact that I'm still a good dude. But
Mhm.
that's something that developed within myself outside of just the way that I was raised and the values that my parents have given me. The question is, it starts with you. Everything starts with you. And how can I get somebody else to believe something that I don't believe? It's like I'm in sales. I've been in sales for over 20 years. I don't feel comfortable selling anything that I don't believe in. For me to tell you, hey, this these are the best batteries in the world. They last 50% longer than any other battery. If I don't believe that this battery lasts 50% longer than any other battery, I have a problem selling it. So I have to believe in myself that I am better than this, or I am worthy of this success. Once I believed it, then I could go forward and do it because I believe it. And they ask the question of, how are you able to consistently perform at this level? What are you doing to stay at the top? I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in everything that I say. So when I tell you what I tell you, you're going to believe what I believe because I believe what I'm telling you. You sell as a salesperson. I sell myself more so than I sell any product, and I believe in myself more than any product that I'll sell. But I will only sell a product that I believe in, because if I don't believe in that product, I won't sell it anymore.
Right.
So it's a you build within yourself every single day, however you need to do it. But that's something that I would suggest to people. And you stand in front of a mirror and you talk your way through the process and tell yourself that you are worthy of love. You are worthy of praise. You are worthy of greatness. And that doesn't make you better than anybody else. It doesn't make you less than anybody else. But all the good things that this world has, there's a space for you to get a piece of that. I hope that answers your question.
And I'm gonna piggyback off that self-talk thing, and I'm gonna just tell a really, really brief story. This video gonna be long. I feel it in my bones, so I just gotta watch to the end so y'all can get all the shit.
And with that being said, it's over. Daddy, daughter out. No, I'm just joking.
But my first encounter with self-talk and just the terms of it, because I've always known it, everybody's seen that movie, You Kind, Important, everybody's seen that. But my first time actually hearing the words put together was around this time last year, maybe even a few months, like Marchish last year, when I was getting ready to go on an internship. Now, this would be one of the craziest things that I'll ever do in life. I did not finish that internship. If you want to know that story time behind that, go to my other channel and spam the comments, and maybe I might do it. Maybe I might will, maybe I might not. I know that's not proper English, but I'll say what I said. Anyways, and during this internship, my job was to get up at 7 a.m. and 6:59 a.m. race to the shower, take a cold shower, and all I'm doing is screaming, not to the top of my lungs, but out loud, speaking positively to myself. I'll get ready with my roommates. We'll go to breakfast. At breakfast, we'll plan the doors that we're going to hit, because this is door-to-door sales. We sell an educational system. And then by 7:59, I will be knocking on my first door. Or 8:01, something like around this time, I'm knocking on my first door. And my last door is at, I want to say 9 o'clock at night, 8:59, some around 9:01, some around this time. And from this time period, I'm in a different state that I haven't been in a while, but a different state. I don't know nobody, and my job is to knock on doors and push these educational books. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm by myself. I'm not using my phone. There's no music. There's just me and my brain. So they taught us the art of self-talk. Now, I knew about mantras and self-affirmations and all that stuff, but I never really thought about it in this aspect. And this was the weirdest thing that anybody had ever asked me to do. And I was too cool. And I was just like, you got it, big dog. I talk to myself in my head. I don't really need to be outside waving at the squirrels. This is gonna be a wonderful day. I look like a dork. And so the first day, everybody popped up. I got ready. I was quiet. Showered. I didn't take no cold shower either, because what? No, not doing that. I'll hurry up, but I'm not gonna take no cold shower, because that's weird. I'm not doing that. And I'm quiet as a church mouse. I'm not saying nothing. I might whisper a little bit. Meaningless stuff. Just talking because I was supposed to. And so we get to the restaurant, and then after we eat in the middle of the parking lot, they're like, okay, let's sing songs. I'm like, what? No, you're crazy. Not doing that. So I kind of sung, kind of danced, and sprinted off to my car as soon as they let me go. And now I'm out in the middle of the country, in the middle of nowhere. It's chickens. It's all types of people. It's stray, not stray dogs, but loose dogs. The parking lot is a mile long, and I gotta drive all the way up to these people's house that I don't know and knock on this door. And I'm like, it's a great day to be a book girl. You're gonna have a lot of fun, whispering still. And I do this for an entire week, the longest 12 hours of my life. And so I'm in this car and I'm shadowing somebody. I'm in this car and I start to cry like a little pup. But I'm crying. I'm like, I just don't get it. Like I'm lonely. I'm bored out there. Well, do you do self-talk? I mean, yeah, in my head, you ain't doing self-talk. And she's like, well, think about it like SpongeBob. You know how in his brain he has all these different file cabinets. And he like just pulling through all these notes. Well, you have that same thing in your brain, and you have all these negative ones because you out here alone, you don't know nobody, you don't got your phone, you ain't talking to many people. Some people you cussing you out, saying no, get off my step, what you doing here? Some people are like, yeah, but no, my kids are smart. Like you're getting a lot of no's. You're getting some yeses, but you're getting a lot of no's while you're doing it. And you just whispering to yourself, if that. So you're just walking outside in the heat about to die. And you're not saying nothing. And so all of them people in your brain, they just negative, negative, negative. I'm worried. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost. It's hot. I'm hungry. And da 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 da. But you're not talking out loud. So when you talk out loud, they're starting to hear you, and they're changing the narrative up there. Hold on, something hot on the street. She's saying something, and she's speaking with confidence, and she's being loud, and this is good. I'm still typing a lot of negative, but somebody needs to get on the story. Wait, she's still talking. A couple days later, hold on. Wait, this is getting good. So about 50% of us is gonna work on this. It's still gonna be some negatives, but we're gonna work on this. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna type it up. We're gonna type it up. It's been a whole month. This girl is still talking. It's 3 or 4 naysayers up there right now, but the rest of us, this is trending, it's still hot, it's still popping. She's still talking. This is the new wave up here. So not only am I speaking to myself out loud, but I done changed the whole narrative of my mindset. While I did not last the full summer in that internship, I learned the art of self-talk and how powerful it is. I went from being lonely, afraid, and just confused as to what I was doing and having the longest 12-hour shifts of my life. People telling me no all day. It's hot. The bugs in Mississippi are horribly big. So, wait a minute, it's 901? How did we get here? The bug's still big. People still telling me no, it's still hot. The humidity is still through the roof. But I didn't notice because I was talking to myself and I was changing that narrative. And I still do that to this day in everything I do. I still complain. And there's still some naysayers up there. But for the better part of my day is more positive than negative. And when I do find myself in a negative run, I know that if I say it out loud, I can change the whole format of my brain from, I gotta do this to I get to do this. And just that whole process and taking self-talk, what was goofy at first because these people really told me knock on the door and then talk to yourself and wave and look away until they answer the door. And I was like, ugh, too cool for that. Threw away that cool card and got a whole new mindset. And that was way more worth it and probably the best lesson that somebody ever could have taught me about just self-talk. And then it also related to my mentality, it related to my happiness and my peace. They taught it to me, and I am implied, what's the word? I used it. Let me stop trying to be all philosophical.
Applied.
That's the way. Up that concept, and it changed my whole mindset. It changed my whole mind. And I think kind of answering my question and kind of using what my dad was talking about, it can be taught, but you have to make that application. That's the difference between somebody being your peace and your happiness and your wholeness and somebody bringing peace and bringing you these lessons and bringing you these different applications, these different tools and apparatuses that you can use to manifest your own greatness, manifest your own happiness, and manifest your own everything. Because essentially, if you let somebody fill them holes with their peace and their happiness and their concepts that you aren't using the applications to, when they ready to go and they don't feel like dealing with that no more, they don't feel like overexerting themselves, because not only do they have to be their own piece, they got to be your piece too. They can rapidly pack all that stuff up and take it back and rip that band-aid off, and now you exposed to them.
Ooh, can I speak, teacher? Okay. So I just want to piggyback on kind of like the importance of the self-talk, or maybe tie it together, the self-talk versus, like you said, when you first started, it was like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not doing it this way. I'm going to do it this way. You said some of the things they said for you to say, but you said it inside. Okay. Inside here lies the subconscious. This is conscious. And the difference between the two, when you say it verbally compared to saying it in your head. And that's what I suggest people do. You stand in the mirror and say it to yourself, because when you say it, you know who's talking. When it's inside your head, you don't always know who's talking. It could be somebody from your past that told you this or told you that. So when you hear those same words, you hear their voice. So it's not you talking, it's your subconscious talking. Suppressed feelings and emotions, past experiences, it may not be you that's talking. But when you open your mouth and say it, you know exactly who's talking, where the message is coming from, and who the intended party is. So yes, saying it aloud makes a huge difference than saying it inside. It's like literally praying. And try it. Pray in your head and watch how quickly it goes awry. The conversation that you're having will detour compared to when you're speaking with your voice. It'll stay more focused. So yes, when you do those affirmations, it's important, in my opinion. I'm not a professional, professor, none of that stuff. I just kind of know what I know. But when you say it, it hits its intended target with the intended bullet.
Yeah, and when you speak aloud, you control the conversation. That's just like, let's use a math problem for example. I was notorious for this. I'm bomb in math. I'm A1 at math, and I like to be quick. Everything I do is very fast paced, and I really try to slow myself down now that I take more time to really learn who I am and learn that I ain't going nowhere fast. I don't have to rush. But in school, I was notorious for never ever showing my work. Everything I did was up here. And when I would get my paper back and I would miss a point or two, I would be so mad because I can look at it and immediately, because they don't even have to put the right answer. I can look at it and immediately know where I went wrong. But because I was so in here, it's song lyrics up there, it's recipes up there, it's memes up there, it's so much up here, stored in here, that it got lost in translation. And I'm dyslexic out loud. So let alone in my brain. It just be stuff just be flipping and woven and all that stuff up here. So all that time I could have got hundreds on everything if I just showed the freaking work.
Mm-hmm.
I could be happy, genuinely happy, and I could have a better mindset if I just say it out loud. Because if you put me in the quiet room and you leave me to this, magical unicorns, monkeys in rainforest, and then like some philosophical stuff thrown in there with some lyrics, a PB&J with apricot jam. All of that is going on in there. I can't really control the conversation. I can't keep it together. Something gonna pop in there that I wasn't even thinking about. I wasn't talking about. Same as prayers. When I'm loosely praying in my head, because I don't want to be holier than thou, or I don't really know where I stand with religion, and I don't know what I'm doing, I'll be saying all stuff. And then I'll be like, "Oop, I cussed in my head, Lord, I'm sorry. I was thinking about what Jamal did last week. That we ain't even on topic. But in the dire moments that I needed the most, oh, I'm talking out loud. I'm very concentrated on this conversation, and I'm being direct with my prayers. I'm being delivered. I'm being delivered. My bad, it had echoed. I heard myself. It scared me a little bit. I'm being very deliberate with my words. So if you're trying to change a mindset, if you're trying to gain confidence, if you are trying to change the way you think, you need to be deliberate with your words. And the only way you're going to control that conversation is if you say it out loud. And if you use your own words. Because like he was saying, I heard all of this self-talk around me. It's a wonderful day to be a book girl. I don't even know what that means. I'm not a book girl. I wasn't a book girl then, and I'm not a book girl now. Somebody just told me that, and somebody told me to say that. So I'm be a book girl. In my head, that didn't mean nothing to me. I had to find my own voice, had to find my own words. And even some of the things that I recycled from them, when I said it out loud, I could tell if I meant it or not. I could tell her that, no, this ain't gonna work, player. This ain't. And I remember calling my dad, crying like, I don't like the house I live in. My life is just a rough. I just don't want to be here no more. Well, what are you doing? What are you saying? Say what you feel, not what they told you. The concept is cool, but you might have to tweak the application a little bit to make sure that it fits you. And when I start saying things that fit me, it made the time go out faster. It made the process more smoother. It made it much more enjoyable. But in like 3.5 weeks that I was out there, like I had more fun than I had bad time. Just didn't quite work out for you, girl. But I took those lessons that I learned and I applied that to everyday life, and it's been cool ever since.
And I guess at that point in time, I was your piece.
Mm-hmm. You brought peace, you brought lessons, and you brought tools. And it took for me to properly use them. And if I had questions, to ask more questions. And keyword from that, like, you helped me find my peace. You helped me find my rhythm. You didn't let
yourself. It was finding yourself. Because once you find yourself, all those other things kind of come in place. And that's all. I know I cut you off, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I meant to cut you off because it's coming out. And if you don't allow me to come out now, that CRS will develop. Can't remember ish, and I won't get it out. But where you are now and where you're going is where I've always meant for you to be. All those times when you said, Daddy, everything is not a teachable moment. I told you to crap, it's not. It is a teachable moment. I don't have to teach you as much stuff now as I used to, because you understand the lesson. You understand the concept of my teaching. And the concept of my teaching was to always get you to the point to where you didn't need to be taught anymore. You get to the point to where you're now teaching. So I've always wanted you to be. Like I told you, you have to get to the point to where you can tell my story. And you're well on your way. We still have ways to go with it. As long as I have breath in my body, I'm still going to be teaching you. But the concept and the construct of what I'm doing, you understand it. So I don't have to now. It's not that you won't ever call me to say, Dad, I need help with this, or Dad, I need you to level me off. You know how to at least go through steps of leveling yourself. And if it's just not working this time, you call my dad. But for the most part, you can level yourself. But now also, you probably have found that people call you to catch that level.
Mhm. All the time.
and you're able to do what I would do for you.
Mhm.
And hopefully you're giving it to them in the same format in which I would give it to you, to where they can level themselves. It's each one teach one. Each one teach one. Each one teach one. And hopefully they pick up what you picked up, and then now they could carry it on to the next person. So it's initially I brought peace to you, which you may have been looking for me to be your peace, but me bringing the peace to you, you then took that and made your own peace. So it wasn't a half. No, it was a whole, building you up to be a whole. Now you can take your whole elsewhere and build up the next person.
And I think to kind of add to that, it's like I admire your consideration, I respect your consideration, and I seek your consideration. But I'm not seeking answers per se. I'm more so seeking tools, seeking, and knowing that my whole effort and your allowance of grace and space for me to blossom is what's gonna make me whole. And when at the beginning when I said two halves don't make a whole, that doesn't mean that two halves can't come together and during that time find growth and find wholeness individually, separate from each other. Like they individually grow and find wholeness because they use and implement different tools. Like maybe this person has a strong suit and this person has a weakness and vice versa. It don't mean that they can't become whole themselves and then make a better whole. But that two halves trying to be each other's piece, it's not going to equivalent to wholeness. There's always room for growth, and I think that's why, like how you said, like you can be whole in return. You're giving me the tools and the steps into where I can find my wholeness, but you allowing me space. You're not dragging me along. You're not masking stuff. You're giving me the space and the tools I need to be successful and to find my way, my journey, my path. Because the things that I do, or the things that are necessary for me to become whole, you might not need all them steps. And it's not your job and it's not your responsibility, even as my parent, to make me whole, because you can't. You can give all, you can do it, you can try until your very last breath. But if it's not on my terms and if it's not something that I want to do, then it's not going to be possible. And I think that's important, that when we talk about the be my peace and we throw it around so loosely, that if you don't touch on that, and you have some people that are like myself that are super optimistic, super just, I want to help, I want to help, I want to help, you won't realize how much damage you're doing in return, because you just dragging that person and they not ready for that yet. You give tools, you give them the opportunity, you give them the space and the grace to blossom, but they gotta plant them roots first, and they gotta be ready to soar. You can't make nobody fly. You can't make nobody great. You can't make nobody whole. And you can't blame yourself for that, because the whole time you pouring into them, your cup is pouring out. And now you netting zero. And now you ain't even whole. Now you 75, 50, 25%. And you got to put back into that. So to kind of wrap up the concept, talk to yourself. Be whole in yourself and recognize that two halves don't make a whole, but two halves working on something can grow into a whole to make a force to be reckoned with. And you can't drag nobody. It's tiring, it's stressful, and just don't do it, okay? Take it from me. Learn it from me. Just don't do it. And don't keep trying, because it ain't gonna work, okay? Anything you like to conclude with? It's hot.
Oh, well, it's not as hot here as it is there. Well, but then again, it may be because the humidity's higher here. But yes, I agree with you what it is that you're saying. You made a lot of valid points, and hopefully everybody out there is getting it. If you don't get it the first time, go back and listen to it again. But when you finish listening, don't forget to hit that button up top for like. Also subscribe, comment. We really, really appreciate the comments. That's what we use as tools to sharpen ourselves, get those comments, and most importantly, share, 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 and share. And with that said, and this time I'm serious, daddy daughter out.